I'm Rachel,
And I'm Sarah.
and this is Effort&Ease yoga, yoga that you can take anywhere and practice at any time. Today we're doing a 20-minute splits flow. So this is a yoga flow designed to take your body through different variations of splits, Hanumanasana in the Sanskrit, and to, as you move through those different variations, find a little greater depth and comfort.
Which I need. And maybe you do too.
I love splits.
She
Splits
doesn't
is my
either.
favorite.
Literally.
All right, let's get started.
Let's go.
In today's flow, you might use a pair of yoga blocks, especially if you know that they'll help you find a little bit more space in your hamstrings, but they're not required, so if you don't have them, don't worry about it. We're going to get started in a downward facing dog. So keeping your feet about hip socket width distance, walk your hands forward and come into your downward face. Now, this is the first downward face, obviously, that we've encountered. So your body might not be at its most comfortable yet, but that's okay. Press the weight of your body into your legs, letting your heels get a little bit closer towards the floor. Achilles tendons lengthening. What weight remains in your hands, press into the fingertips, getting out of the heels of the palms, and then rotate your arms so that your triceps are wrapping forward and your armpits are facing the mat. Bend your knees, elevate your heels, turbo, and then press through the balls of your feet, straighten the legs, and bring your heels closer, downward face. Again, bend the knees, elevate the heels, turbo, press through the balls of the feet, extend the knees, and lower the heels to the mat. One more time. Bend the knees, turbo. Press through the balls of the feet to extend the legs. And then lower the heels towards the mat. On an inhale, right leg sweeps the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip, turn your right heel towards your left butt cheek. If you like, you can come all the way down onto your left forearm here, increasing the stretch in the back of your left leg. And then press into your left hand if you've lowered to the forearm. Extend your right leg so right toes high. Elevate the left heel. Round and curl. Pull your knee towards your nose. Shift your shoulders past your wrists. Pause, Nasasana. And then place the foot between your hands. Lower your left knee to the earth. Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. Reach the arms up overhead. Hook your thumbs, spread your fingers wide, cactus your elbows, press your chest up towards the ceiling. And then on an inhale, reach up again. On an exhale, bring your hands to frame your right foot, draw your hips back, half split. So this is our first split variation. As you press your right heel down, pull your right toes back, and tilt your tailbone up, lengthening along the back of your right leg. If you're using your blocks, try to find that same sense of sending your chin towards your shin, a lengthening of the front body. Resist the temptation to round and curl, to flex your spine and bring your forehead to your knee. Instead, keep spreading the sits bones, drawing the right heel towards the left knee isometrically. Good, now rotate your right foot so that the pinky toe is flush with the mat and walk your hands to the right for steer. Squeeze your inner thighs. Feeling this stretch all the way from the outside of the right hip down to the right ankle. Good, walk your hands back through the center of the mat into a little half child's pose, half straddle. So seal the right pinky toe down and press the hips back. This time getting into the inside of the right thigh. Letting the head of your femur rotate in the hip socket here. We've taken it from a closed to a, I can't think of the word, abducted hip. Good, and then press your hands into the ground underneath your shoulders. Walk your hands back to frame the right foot. Bend the right knee. Quad stretch, draw your left heel towards you. Now you can keep your left hand down, or you can reach back with your right hand for your left foot, draw your heel towards your tail. If you like, you can soften all the way down to your left forearm. And then release your left foot, place your hands on either side of your right foot, tuck your left toes, coming to a supported lunge. Step your right foot back to meet your left, pause in your high plank. Lift your hips back and up, downward face. On an inhale, left leg sweeps the sky. Elevate the right heel, make it expansive. Bend the knee, open the hip. If you like, you can lower your right forearm to the mat. Getting a deeper stretch. Oopsie. Do you want to, how should we just come back to here? Oh. Our left knee is bent, left heel is moving towards the right butt cheek. And then if you've softened to your right forearm, go ahead and press back up onto the right hand. Extend the right leg, elevate the left heel. Exhale, round and curl, draw your left knee to your nose, Nasasana. Pull everything up and in. Shift your shoulders past your wrists, and then place the left foot to the space between your thumbs. Lower your right shin, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge, sweep your arms up. Hook your thumbs, spread your fingers wide, Garuda Mudra, cactus your elbows, press your chest up to the ceiling. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, hands come down, they frame the left foot, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana, flex your left toes back to your face. Think about pressing your left heel down and back, and lifting your left butt cheek back and up. Again, a little isometric energy between your left heel and your right knee, as if those two entities are trying to draw towards one another, but they're like stuck in thick mud. If you're using the blocks, think about squeezing your shoulder blades together, broaden through the collarbone, chin to shin, to stretch the back of that left leg more deeply, really getting into the hamstring. Good, and then rotate your left toes down, pinky toe flush with the mat for steer. Walk your hands to the left. Squeeze the inner thighs. Flex your left toes strongly back towards your left shin as you push your left heel forward here to get even more sensation along the outside of your left leg. Good, then from the outside of the hip, we move to the inner thigh. Walk your hands through the center of the mat. Come into your half child's pose, half straddle. Seal the left pinky toe down. Press your hips back. Press into your palms. Lift your torso. And rotate your hands back to the top of the mat, coming into our first quad stretch. Right hand stays underneath your right shoulder. Bend your left knee. You might find the foot, or you might just squeeze the heel in towards your tail. Squeezing the hamstring alone will allow the quad to release, or you can pull the foot in. You can stay high on your hand, or you can soften to your forearm. You can also use a block underneath your right hand here if you need a little bit more space. Try to keep hugging the left knee in as much as it's possible rather than letting it splay out, so that you really get more length through the right psoas, the hip flexor, and the quad. Good, bring your hands back to frame your left foot. Tuck your right toes, elevate your right knee off the mat. Step your left foot back to meet the right high plank. And then lift the hips back and up, downward face. Drive your heels a little bit closer towards the earth. Again, they still might not be touching, and that's fine. Pressing more of the body weight into the legs, feeling the Achilles tendons lengthen a little bit more with each repetition of our downward face. Give your head a shake, yes, no. And then walk your hands to the back of the mat to meet your feet. Separate your feet by 2 fist widths distance, so 2 fists fit between the big toes. Bend the knees a lot, connect your belly to your thighs, and then slide whole hand under whole foot. Padahastasana from the front, toes wriggle into your wrist creases. Pull on the balls of your feet, roll the weight forward into your toes, lift your hips higher, keeping your upper body pressed against your lower body. Belly to the thighs, chest pressing against the knees. Lift the hips a little higher. And then unplug your hands from your feet. On an inhale, look out, lengthen. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Walk your hands forward to your downward face. From this downward face, right leg sweeps the sky as it did before. Elevate the left heel. Exhale, round and curl. Draw your right knee to your nose. Step the right foot through, high crescent lunge. Left hip, left heel, push forward. Arms reach up. Interlace your fingers, release your index. Optional back bend. So the back bend serves a double purpose here as we work on our splits. It gives the left hip flexor more space. Inhale back through center. Good, lower the left knee to the earth. Optional back bend again from the Ardha Hanumanasana. Heart up and back. Inhale back through center. Hands come down, they frame the right foot. This time, press into your right foot, tuck your left toes, and launch yourself into your standing split. So left toes as high as you possibly can. Bend your left knee, left heel towards your right butt cheek, just like we did in this downward facing dog. And then bend the right knee and tap your left toes to the space right behind your right heel. Little curtsy tap, and then stretch it back and up. Again, curtsy tap. Engaging the right hamstring to stretch it here, reach it back and up. Curtsy tap. Reach it back and up. Last time, little curtsy tap. Left toes reach back and up. Pause, standing split. Really pull your body in towards your right leg. Maybe even bringing your forehead towards your right shin. Squeeze your left hamstring so that squeeze the left quadricep so that the left hamstring will release. Good, now stretch the left toes all the way to the back of the mat. Sweep the right leg back and up, bend the knee, open the hip, let it wash out. Allow the right foot to lower behind the left quad or thigh, or hamstring, or quad or calf. Good, and then pivot so that you are facing the right side of the mat. Rounding through your left foot and your left hand, point your right toes. Trace a line up the inseam of your left leg with your right toes. Pull the knee as high up, as far forward as you can. Good, and step the right foot all the way to the top right corner of the mat. High lizard lunge. Place your right hand inside your right foot, underneath your right shoulder. Stay in your high lizard, so keep the left knee elevated and come as low as you can. You can kind of saw back and forth a little bit here. And then lower to the forearms. Good. Low lizard, or not low lizard yet. It's still a high lizard. You're keeping your left knee elevated. Good. And then finally come to your lizard lunge. Let the left knee come all the way down. Staying on your hands. So if you need to, the right knee
might rotate out a little bit here to give your hips more space. If you can, keep it hugging in. That's going to allow for a greater opening when we get to the full split. Good. If you're on your forearms, come back to your hands and rotate into a revolved skandasana. So come onto the blades of your feet, let the right knee open, flossing through the right hip joint here. You might bring your right hand to your right knee and press it a little wider. Hey, Jessica. Good. And then from this revolved skandasana, place your right hand back down on the mat, tuck your left toes. Sweep the right leg back and up, three-legged. Good, bend the knee, open the hip. And then re-extend the right leg, lower the right foot to meet the left. Come back to the downward face. Press the heels towards the earth. On an inhale, oh my goodness. On an inhale, left leg sweeps the sky. Elevate the right heel, make it expansive. So you're already thinking standing split here in your down dog. And then left knee to nose, round and curl. Place the left foot through to the space between your hands, high crescent lunge, right hip, right heel, push forward, arms reach up. Interlace your fingers, release your index. Take your heart up and back, and you know. Inhale back to center. Hands come down, lower the right knee, and take it up and back again. Back bend in your low crescent. Inhale back to center. Hands come down, they frame the right foot. Round and curl, forehead to knee. Press through your left foot and tuck your right toes. Launch yourself into your standing split. Right toes high. Hands can stay underneath the shoulders, or you can place them on your blocks. Bend the right knee. Draw your right heel towards your left butt cheek. And then little curtsy tap. Soften the left knee, bring your right toes to tap behind your left ankle, and extend, reach it back up to the sky. Again, bend the knee, little tap, stretch, and reach. Again, bend the knee, little tap, stretch, and reach. Last one, bend the knee, little tap, stretch, reach. Standing split. Maybe bringing your forehead towards your shin. Squeeze the right quad so that the hamstring can release. And then right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Sweep your left leg back and up. Bend the knee. Open the hip. Step the left foot behind the right quad. Dancer's bridge. Keep your right foot grounded, your right hand pressing. Point your left toes and trace a line up the inseam of your right leg. Pull the knee as high up and as far forward as you can. And then step that left foot to the top left corner of the mat. High lizard lunge. Left hand comes underneath your shoulder. Keep the right knee elevated and start to let the hips get lower. Stay high on your hands or soften to your forearms. And then lower your right knee, low lizard. Remember, you can let your left knee splay out here. You might not have brought your hands all the way down to forearms. You might stay high on palms. That's okay. If you're finding it difficult to settle low into the pose, turning the left toes out, letting the left knee open will give you more space. But if you're already here, try to keep hugging the left knee in. A little bit more sensation. And then rotate into your revolved Skandasana, coming onto the blades of your feet. You can place your left hand inside your left knee to open it wider. Come back around, place your left hand underneath your left shoulder, tuck your right toes. Sweep your left leg back and up, bend the knee, open the hip. Let it wash out. And then lower the left foot to meet the right. Downward face, press your hips back. Good, on an inhale, right leg sweeps the sky. Elevate the left heel. Draw your right knee to your nose, Nasasana. This time, rather than stepping through to a lunge, flick your leg through and slide into your full split. So you might use your blocks here to frame your hips so that you stay a little bit lifted. You might place a block underneath your seat to give you more support. Good. You might, if you're close to a split but not quite there, allow your torso to rotate and sort of cascade over to the left side. This will make a little bit more space in the right leg. You could stay here, or once you've established the space, you might come back to a more demanding split, working your left hip forward, your right hip back. Or you can bring your left elbow across your right thigh and take a little TFL stretch in your split. I like to use my head for leverage. Good. Using the breath to kind of settle in. Inhales to make space. Exhales to move into the space you've created. In the final few breaths here, if you'd like to add on, you can take a back bend, just like we did in the crescent, interlacing your fingers, releasing the index, taking your heart up and back. Or you can practice your king pigeon, reaching back for your left foot with your left hand, rotating at the shoulder, and maybe bringing your toes towards your head. And then place your hands on either side of your right leg. Tuck your left toes. Sweep righty, back it up. You may take your mat with you. Good, bend the knee, open the hip. And then lower the right foot to meet the left downward face. Left leg sweeps the sky. Elevate the right heel. Exhale, left knee to your forehead. Nasasana. Flick the left foot through. Full split. So same options that you had on the other side. Going to add in some other things on this side that you might not have thought to work on the other. So you can press your hands down and lift your seat off the mat, and from there find a little bouncing action. A little bit of dynamic movement in your split might ease the body in. You might also, if you'll hand me a block, work on an oversplit, in which case, if you're fairly flexible, you can place your leg on a block and find even more depth in the hamstring. You might also, and this is kind of, in my opinion, the hardest, Keep your right toes tucked and reach your arms up overhead, and then practice lifting your pelvis off the mat. Engaging, squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. Yes, it is. Good. A couple more breaths, just like last time, using the inhales to make space, the exhales to move into the space you've created. If you're taking that royal pigeon variation, you'd reach back for your right foot with your right hand. Work on bringing the elbows together, and then eventually letting the head fall back. Place your hands down, frame the left foot, tuck your right toes, and sweep the left leg back and up. Bend the knee, open the hip, and then lower your left foot to meet the right. Walk your hands to meet your feet at the back of the mat. Fold around your legs. Whether you're reaching behind you for your ankles, your opposite elbows, or merely hanging heavy here, just take a moment to fold into yourself. Good. On an inhale, look out, lengthen. Hands can come to shins, blocks for the floor. Exhale, fold and soften. Inhale, reverse swan dive to come up. Bring your palms overhead to touch. Draw your prayer to your heart. Close eyes. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. We have
I hope you feel
splitsy.
subscribe.
And like.
I forgot.
And comment.
Yeah.
And there's lots more of splits that we can get to. So let us know if you want more.